Hello, everyone. I think we're going to start now. We'll start our presentation.
So this is Gut Interest, how to introduce newcomers into the tutoring world. No, it's not working. Sorry, Sophie. Okay, we got it.
So a little bit about us. Who are we? I'm Sophie McCorquindale.
I'm Christina Bujoreanu.
And we are seniors at Thomas Edison. Sorry, just checking the chat. We're here, seniors here at Thomas Edison. We are AC3s, and for those that don't know what that means, it just means it's our third year on the Writing Center.
We both played volleyball together at school,
and that's how we met.
And I myself am a plant and book connoisseur, have a slight addiction.
And I do Ollie weightlifting, and I'm also a giant reader.
So we just wanted you guys to take a moment at first. You could type this into the chat or have your mic out or whichever you guys are comfortable with. Just reflect on how did you learn about your Writing Center? What inspired you to become a tutor? What was your first impression? And what was it like to become a tutor? Like, we'd love to hear your opinions, like how you, just all of it.
Feel free to answer one or all of the questions, or just take a minute just to yourself and just kind of, think about that. I'll give you a little bit.
Yeah. But if you guys want to write in the chat, that'd be
I'd also
really appreciate it. Just to get some interaction going.
While you guys are thinking, we'll kind of share some of our experiences. So how did I learn about the Writing Center? It takes me back. It was freshman year, and my English teacher, we're in the library, and he was just talking. He was like, guys, there's this thing called the Writing Center, and in the middle of the year, I have to submit these recommendations, so just keep that, kind of on your radar. And I really don't know how to describe myself freshman year, but it was intense. And so I went up to him that very day, and I was like, hello, Mr. Irvin was my English teacher's name.
He was me too.
And he was like, I was like, oh, you better let me into the Writing Center. I really want to join this, and you should write my recommendation, blah, blah, blah. And I just basically cornered him and forced him to let me join the Writing Center. So that's how I came to join.
Well, I actually also had Mr. Irvin my freshman year, but I actually didn't hear about the Writing Center until one week, like sometime in March, actually. He was just like, oh, by the way, some of you guys might be getting some letters. Don't worry, it's nothing bad. I just sent some recommendations into the Writing Center. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I got a letter and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I just went through this whole thing. I was very new to the school. I knew absolutely nobody coming in. I came from a different middle school. And I was like, oh my God, I can make friends. I was just really excited. And I walked into the Writing Center here, and it was such a welcoming environment and such a good vibe. I just really knew I was like, this is it. This is where I'm going to be the next 3 years.
Looking into everyone's chats, I see Sandra said welcoming to, the first impression. Same with Sophia. Sorry if I butcher your guys' name. I'm used to that. My last name is a little confusing. Same with her. But Sophia Mellor, and she says motivated. And that's exactly, I think, what the Writing Center is all about: welcoming and motivated and just helping others. And I love that, that your centers also have that. I also see Renee Brown talking about her experience in college and joining the Writing Center. That's awesome. I also want to join the Writing Center in college. I want to continue on.
That's so excited that you were getting the opportunity, that you have a Writing Center in college. I don't really know a lot that do that. So, awesome. Yeah.
So that's all. I think we'll move on, but continue to think about this, right? This shouldn't be the last time you think about how you joined, where you started, because I think that, kind of sets you up for how you continue in your Writing Center throughout your years.
And also, please, if you have any comments that you want to share, just feel free to drop it in the chat or just say it out loud.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. We just want to make this very interactive, engaging.
This is not a presentation. This is a conversation, right? It is. And we're not only looking to help you guys improve your Writing Centers, but to improve ours, and that's done through collaboration. I don't know how to change the slide.
It's okay.
Okay.
Oh no. Okay.
So just talking about kind of our Writing Center's tactics, this is how we go through the recruitment process and just what we do. So it kind of first starts out with that demonstrated interest. So in my case, it was with Mr. Irvin and me cornering him to let me in, this interest. Next, then we go into a teacher recommendation. So like he said, he had to, submit my name, write a little thing. And this is for any teacher. within the school. So it doesn't just have to be English, and it's anyone that observes positive characteristics within a student.
And then the students have to go through an interview process where they get interviewed by one of the tutors at the Writing Center, and they're conducted through teacher supervision. And we are essentially the ones that get the final go around to say, like, yes, we believe that this is a good student for the Writing Center and that they will be a solid contribution.
Mm-hmm. So then this is just another little reflection. Is your guys' process like similar? Are they different? Has it changed recently, or has it kind of always been the same? Do you guys have like different things? Is there interviews?
Yeah, I know a lot of from previous conferences that we've gone to, interviews are more rare. I believe like we're one of the few that do interview processes. So just like let us know.
This is really interesting. So yeah, so Sophia is saying they don't do interviews. Renee Brown with just the teacher recommendations. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. I also just still don't know how to change the slide. Okay, I got it down. So why are initiates important, right? Like why are we, having this incoming class? So this recruitment process is kind of what builds, like I say in the slide, the next generation of the Writing Center. Those people that join the first year aren't going to be there in 5 years. We graduate high school, graduate college, like we move on, and we have to kind of keep this process going. Now, the Writing Center is built on, the tutors. So in order to make sure that you have a good Writing Center, you have to make sure that you have good tutors. In order to get good tutors, you have to have, a good Writing Center. So recruitment, as I say, is the crux of the center. And it really sets the tone for how that year is going to go.
Now, in entering the world, you're writing, if we make an analogy over here, the Writing Center is like a little company. You have your teachers, which are like the CEOs, the managers. You have the student leads. So we have tutoring leads that are like the student heads. So those will be like the actual managers. Then we also run on different committees. So those would be like the different teams of the company. And then you have your tutors are akin to your employees, and your consumers, which are your tutees. And when you compare your Writing Center to that of a company, the recruitment process is what companies would refer to as the hiring process.
Mm-hmm. So kind of looking into this and doing some research, we were looking at this one place called Career Builder, and they really focus on like hiring and helping employees and, just employment and all that. And they did a survey. And it showed that, quote, nearly 3 in 4 companies, which is 74%, said that they have hired the wrong candidate. And that had led to a damaging ripple effect throughout the company. They say, it causes, decreased productivity, and it brings down morale and all these things. So I think it just goes to show how important, your hirees are, or your tutees who you let in.
And now here's another fun quote. It's important to note that there's a ripple effect of bad hires. Disengagement is contagious. Poor performers lower the bar for other workers on their teams, and their bad habits spread throughout the organization. So as you guys probably know, and as we've learned so far, the recruitment process is essential for the success of the Writing Center.
And this is kind of just from us. Just like a company is defined by its employees, a Writing Center's success is defined by its tutors. This makes the recruitment process vital in maintaining a productive and helpful environment, which is, of course, the goal every Writing Center should have, to help others and help everyone in the school with their writing.
So how can you ensure that your center is accepting qualified tutors?
And this is done through demonstrated interest. I just want you to think back, like, why were you originally interested in joining the Writing Center? So thinking back to this, like, why did I corner my English teacher? And that is so embarrassing, but truly, my dad is a big writer, and I think I've just kind of grown up with reading and writing, and it's been so important to me, like kind of my entire life. And I was just sitting there and I was thinking about whether I should go up to him and ask. And I was like, of course I'm going to do that, because I'm a writer and I want to help other people and I love writing. So of course I'm going to do that. I don't know. How did you get interested?
Yeah. So my whole life, I was always very STEM oriented. And I knew that in STEM, especially, You can't really be as successful in STEM if you can't communicate your processes, your thought processes, your solutions, the problems and goals. And I was in a special STEM program at the school too, where we had these things called design briefs at the end of each project, which is essentially like a 20-page paper about like problems and solutions. And I knew that the Writing Center, I already enjoyed writing beforehand, and I knew that the Writing Center was going to be a great way to not only improve my writing, but to also help out other people's writing, and to really give me this idea of how my writing style changes with each different project. So when I need to be more casual, or when I need to be more professional, when it's more scientific language versus more English literary analysis.
Yeah, I'm just going through the chat. We'll share some things. So this is Sophia. She's just saying it was an easy class to have a free period, and that is honestly, I don't want to admit this, but that was also, I'd heard from my friends, who are older, that yeah, this is a great class, to kind of de-stress and really to help people, because when you're serving other people, in these ways, I feel like it just kind of, de-stresses you. You're not having to work on your math homework or work on, this terrible science homework. You just get to help. So yeah, that's definitely me too, Sophia. This is Lork and Kelly. They're just talking about that I was just able to help them get better at writing, and just to help teach it. And that is obviously so true. I've seen myself grow so much as I've helped other people.
I looked at a paper once for my freshman year, and I was like, wow, I really thought I knew how to write then. But yeah. And then we have another comment saying that somebody always knew that they wanted to be a teacher and thought that they would give them practice, and it did, which is great. And honestly, that's all we really can achieve from the Writing Center.
And this is Sandra saying, they're saying that you just want to help others and learn through that. And that is just awesome. That is, again, just truly what the Writing Center is about. It's about helping.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. So yeah, as we kind of already said, this first step is just, why are you interested? Having your potential candidate be interested. So this is kind of why that's important. There's this thing called child-initiated learning. And it's kind of a way that teachers and even parents use to help teach their kids, about their colors, about their numbers. And this is a quote about child-initiated learning. It's, "We all learn best when we're highly motivated. Children are motivated by play, especially when they have chosen it themselves. They are more likely to persist when things get difficult and have a real sense of achievement when they succeed."
Which honestly makes sense.
Right. And just like little kids, we also should be interested in joining the Writing Center in order to have, successful tutoring experiences. And if I hated writing, why would I join the Writing Center? It just, doesn't make much logical sense, I'd say.
So how do you get interested? So here's how we spread interest to future centers generations. And this could be done through advertising. So we have an advertising committee that is in charge of creating, we have TikToks that are created. We have an Instagram page. We have videos done that go onto our news site to get some buzz going around the Writing Center. Our teachers also play a very crucial role, as you guys shared as well, that teacher recommendations are really important to the Writing Center process. And also we take pride in our current tutors and having them spreading the word. And that it's no secret that friends can be a major influence in your life. And I had a lot of friends in the upperclassmen that were in the Writing Center, and they were like, yes, it's so much fun. Let's do it. Let's be in the class together. And I was like, yes, okay, I'm on my way. So that's another really crucial point. And then, no, this is your slide.
So next is kind of a teacher recommendation. So you guys have all shared that, well, no. That teacher recommendations are pretty common amongst Writing Centers. And this is just done by any teacher who observes positive characteristics. And what are those positive characteristics? It's kind of vague, right? So kind of the two that our Writing Center and the Edison Writing Center goes off of is personality and writing. So really it's just any student who has like a go and do attitude. They're motivated, they're personable, they like helping people. I think that's, again, the most important part. So it's anyone that just really has that want to help. Then next is writing. So in order to tutor writing, you do have to have a baseline knowledge of writing. And you have to be skilled in it. And that's, again, where the teacher recommendation is super helpful. It does usually come from an English teacher who has seen these writing samples. They go, oh my gosh, this student is like such a good writer. And I know that they can help other kids in their school, right? So, a combination, you don't have to be the best writer, but if you have that personality that you are motivated and willing to learn, then of course you're going to be let in. We're not going to discount anyone. And same with the writing. If you're a really good writer, but maybe you're not as comfortable talking with people, the Writing Center is a place to grow. And yeah, you can make up for such anywhere.
Next is the application process. So everybody has to submit an application, regardless if you had a teacher recommendation or if you just signed up to apply. Now, some of the application questions that we have on there are like, why do you want to join? How can you contribute? Have you demonstrated leadership in your life? And we also ask for a writing sample. Through this application, we are trying to get a peek into what the student is, like what kind of person they are, what kind of writing they do, how comfortable they are in this new environment. We're just trying to really get a glimpse at first who these people are.
Yeah, so what are we looking for in this application? Kind of the big three for us is enthusiasm. This is, we think, the most important characteristic in a tutor. You want them to really just want to tutor and want to learn and have a love to do so. Then we also have aptitude, which is kind of going back to just that writing, like, do they know how to write? Do they have these kind of basic skills in order to help others? And lastly, are they coachable? None of us are perfect. Again, like Chris said, she looked back at her writing. I've looked back at my writing and oh my gosh, I've grown so much. And I've done that through my teachers and my fellow peers and helping me write, right? Kind of my style and authorship and how I write and tutor has grown, and just that coachability. And it's just a combination of all these three that we look for in these applications.
The next thing that students have to undergo is an interview. So the interview is the one time that we can speak to these students face to face and really get a full grasp of who they are, right? So we ask questions such as what makes you nervous about being a tutor, or how comfortable would you be tutoring an upperclassman or an IB level course, or what's the difference between being a tutor and an editor, which is, I think, one of the most important questions. And like, what leadership qualities should a tutor possess? And essentially through these questions, we're just trying to figure out, sorry, that was our bell, but we're just trying to figure out who these people are, what they would do in a stressful situation, and just like figure out like, why do you want to join the Writing Center? Mm-hmm. And here's some traits that we look for. Biggest thing is kindness. We tutor a lot of different people from a lot of different age groups. We're just looking for somebody who's like polite, can give constructive criticism without being rude. We're looking for somebody personable, somebody who can be responsible, somebody who's motivated, who holds a certain confidence towards them. And like Sophie said earlier, somebody who's coachable.
And it's so important in this interview process because the application, I mean, you can see the person on writing, but I think these traits are really what come out when you meet someone. It's hard. And sometimes it's hard to convey your true personality over writing. And just being able to meet the people in person and interview is a huge insight into how they'll be as a tutor, and as an addition to your Writing Center. And I think it's just important to note when you're conducting these, going through applications or going through interviews or whatever your process looks like, that every candidate will look different. I am pretty different than Christina and how we tutor and how we write, and we all have our different strengths and weaknesses. I think the most important thing to keep in mind, just even for myself, is that there's no perfect tutor. I'll look at people in the Writing Center and just be like, oh my gosh, you're the perfect tutor. There's no way that I could ever, even come close to that. And I especially felt that my first year. I just felt so inadequate. And I come to realize that is just totally not true. Everyone, works differently and learns differently. And that's especially important because it's the same for every tutee. Every tutee learns different. Everyone, meshes in certain ways. So you have to have a wide variety of these tutors in order to mesh with the wide variety of tutees that you'll have, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's also important to note that you can't go into these interviews with this one idea of what a tutor is supposed to be like. Some people are just much better at technical writing. So we have tutees that come in with a biology paper or a chemistry paper or some kind of STEM-oriented paper. And in there, you need more an analytical, technical writing. You can't really have like the floral language that you do with English papers. And some people are just much better with the English papers. Like Sophie, her English papers, lovely. But I am the STEM person.
I go to her when I need help in my biology class.
Yeah.
So this is just another time to reflect. Like, are there any ways that maybe you can improve or alter your current strategies? We'll give you a minute to kind of think.
Or if there are any points that you guys want to let us know that you guys do in your writing center that you think is just really helpful, that's always been super successful for you guys, that you guys want to share. Just, this is like another one of your moments.
Yeah, just let yourself go. We were kind of thinking about changes that maybe we could just take to our recruitment process. And I think the big thing for us was just kind of really honing in on these like teacher recommendations and the applications, kind of these initial parts, and just making sure that everyone that wants to fill out an application or can like does, right? I feel like there are some people that are missed in the application, just I don't know, making sure that we're combing through everybody that has that interest.
And just like also we were discussing going way back, even before the demonstrated interest, just more about around the demonstrated interest, actually just getting the word out about the writing center more, because we did just after all just undergo like a 2-year pandemic. So a lot of the newcoming classes, so the sophomore and freshman classes, don't know what the writing center is, and they didn't know that they have this chance not only to get tutored but to become like a tutor themselves. So just like getting this word out and just getting some more buzz and excitement around the writing center is also another crucial thing that we've been trying to pick up again.
So we have a couple comments. This is coming from Renee Brown, and she says, does having an interview deter or scare people away? That's our worry, that we'll have fewer tutors if we ask for that extra step. It looks like Sandra is, just kind of adding on her thoughts and agreeing.
Yeah, so we've always had an interview process, so I don't think anybody really knew otherwise. But I will say the interview process does, I don't doubt that it probably just like deters some people. However, everybody that we've met under the interview process has been super excited, and just like they seem more nervous about wanting to get in rather than the interview process themselves. We try to make this interview process very casual, kind of informal. It's very much just like talking to another student. Every single time I interviewed a student, they like always seem nervous at first. So it's really important to start off with like some icebreakers or just like a random conversation. Just be like, hey, how's your day been? Like, did you have like math class today? How'd it go? Just get them more comfortable within the environment. And then I noticed that they become a lot more relaxed, and that they can take a moment and realize that this isn't all that bad. Like, it's not that bad of a stressful situation. And they always come out of the interview feeling like really light, really just relaxed in a way. And and everybody that we've interviewed have always been like fantastic people. And I was going to say something else, and then I forgot what I was going to say.
I'll just add on my thoughts. I know it definitely will be different for every school. We do tend to have a lot of applicants, and I think that extra interview, sometimes it does deter people, but it also allows the people that really want it, and are really motivated, to continue that extra step. So it does kind of do some weeding out itself, but that again will be for certain schools. If you have a smaller school and that's not able to happen, or you're scared it will deter too many people, that's an individual choice, and it's totally valid, because the interview is definitely kind of its own little weeding process. So yeah, that'll just have to be an individual choice. Maybe implement it for a few, like a year or two, and if it doesn't work,
also from the interview process, back to what we were saying earlier, somebody can look fantastic on paper and on an application, but then act completely different during an interview. Maybe they're a very timid person, or they're just very like rude in person. And sometimes those kinds of personality traits you can't identify in a application. So interviewing with somebody is just the best way to kind of see who is here to better themselves, to help other people, and who kind of views this as more of like a glorified study hall.
So this is just kind of like what we hope that you're going to take away from our presentation. We hope that you guys will see like the value in having this recruitment process, and why it really builds the center, why it's one of the most important steps to take. Just making sure that you're allowing, the most motivated and the most qualified tutors to, to help others in your center. Additionally, just some strategies and tactics to help improve your current process. and how to make sure that next generation is a fruitful crop. It's a weird okay.
Treating them bananas.
No. And just making sure that you just get the most wonderful tutors. I don't know.
Yeah, and our processes have been like they've been successful so far. We have about 50 tutors in our writing center, I think, and a lot of them are third years. So we have a very high retention rate. Yeah. That's what I say. I think about like 80% like statistically for retention rates.
Yeah, about. But this has definitely been a growing process. It was not like this at the start. It has totally, I mean, not totally, but it has definitely changed since even like my interview process. I don't even think, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think I had an interview. I think it was a snow day. And then I just emailed my teacher and she was like, no, it's okay. I think you're all right. I don't know. It's just so individual and personal to your school and your center. There's no just one blanket strategy, right? It has to be really thought through individually and as your center. So
yeah, and going back to Sophie, like it has changed since my freshman year because I had an interview and the way I had my interview done is I had a whole panel in front of me of like different students and they had a bucket in front of them and they would like pull out questions and it was like really professional. Like they were dressed in like business clothes. And I remember walking into that room and I almost walked right back out. But it was great. Like I don't regret my decision. I love being in the writing center. This is like my third year doing it. And it's just a lovely experience. And you meet some great people.
Yeah. So this is just
biblical references.
No, this is just our bibliography. I'm big about citations, my bad. That's the English in me coming out. But we just thank you all so much for coming to our presentation. This has been just such a wonderful experience to be with you all. And this is just kind of up to you guys. We're just gonna look at the chat here, but if you guys have any other questions, feel free to type them in or turn on your mics. So it says Edison is one of our oldest writing center and longest members of the SWCA community. This is just thank you so much. Sorry, I didn't know if that was a question or not. I didn't read it, but thank you so much.
I think there's a question at the bottom.
Are
there any questions for them?
Yes.
I don't know. So if anybody has any other questions or comments or anything, please feel free to ask or tell us. If you guys have something in your writing center that has been proven to be super successful that don't have, like please feel free to let us know.
Email us. Those are our personal emails, so I definitely check them. My school one, not so much, but
yeah.
And then of course I'm not super familiar with Whova, but I do think I know how to get to my messages. Yeah, so just feel free to contact us. We've absolutely loved having this opportunity to talk to you. Do you have anything to add?
No, I don't know. That's all. Just we hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah. We had fun presenting.
Yeah, we had so much fun.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out.